My name's Justin James. I live in Eugene, Oregon. The new Emerica Herman G6. Man, my favorite feature, there's a couple. There's a lot of good things about this. One of the first thing I noticed was right out of the box. Little lines on the insoles, it bent right where it was supposed to. Didn't have to break it in, didn't feel like it was stiff or anything at all. Just actually switched out my shoes and skated in them and didn't even realize I had new shoes on at first, so it was pretty rad. And then I'd say the insole, it's got this like high density foam that goes all the way through it. And it's pretty thin, but it's pretty solid at the same time, so when I'm wearing them, it feels like the insole's pretty thin and bends really well. I get pretty good board feel, but it just disperses all the impact super well. I jump down sets of stairs and don't really notice, the next day my feet aren't aching or hurting or anything like that. So yeah, it definitely helps out the gap game. Man, some of the other ones, well, the laces come with like a little bit of wax on them, so I've only had to switch out one pair of laces, which is pretty rad. And then this nylon mesh on the side and the tongue just help breathe so much. And man, like there's been sessions where like you take the shoes off and the dogs are barking. That was like a big thing for me. I wear them, do a whole sesh, doesn't matter what the temp is. I take my shoes off and they're not sweaty or hot or anything like that. I'd say it lasted pretty well. The little sidewall here kind of went out first, but it was fine, didn't affect the performance or didn't even make the shoe feel any different. It just made it look a little funny. But the toe cap lasted forever. This single piece just killed it. I ended up switching my shoes just because they looked old. They weren't even, I can still put them on right now and go skate in them if I wanted to. I just decided if I had a second pair, I'd wear the second pair. But yeah, the toe cap still, it doesn't even have a hole in it. It's got a little bit of tear on the rubber. And then you can see some wear on the suede on the toe cap, but it hasn't busted through yet. Just the side from doing heel flips and stuff like that just kind of wore it out a little fast. But yeah, the toe cap's still beautiful and still skates really well. The bottom of the insole hasn't even worn through. Usually I get like this little ring right here from pushing and stuff, but the grip on these little triangle tread has been doing really well. I don't have any holes in the bottom, there's no hole in the toe, so solid. Works pretty well. I don't stop like that too much, but I do a little bit, and this is my back foot, so it's got it's still solid too. And it's really nice, just doesn't affect anything else. I still get a lot of heel grip, and it doesn't feel different. Like if I come to a stop, I don't notice that there's the hard piece of harder rubber right there. So it feels normal, doesn't get in the way. Big fan of the Reynolds 3s, one of my favorites. I said the toe's pretty close to that, but it's a little bit slimmer, so it does kind of give you a little bit more flick. Speaking of that, I really like the flicks. I'd say that's probably the one I would compare it to closer, but the G6 got a lot better impact support than the flick does, and the toe's a little bit more rounded. The flicks kind of give me a really heavy flick, so kick flips get super poked. Sometimes I can't handle it. This is a real nice, in between the flick toe and then the Reynolds 3 toe. But yeah, just with the insole, or with the midsole, the high rebound, it just handles gaps a lot better impact. If I'm wearing the flicks and I'm jumping down stuff, I get a little bit of soreness, but the G6 doesn't do that at all. Man, I loved it. I want to get more pairs of these things. Put them on, board feel right out of the box, toe cap that doesn't tear fast, breathing really well. Even little things like the little cinch on the tongue so you can put your laces through so the tongue doesn't shift. I'm a fan of that. I say the only thing I would switch is just because the toe cap lasted so long that the side panel just kind of blew out after a while. Happens with most shoes, but usually you have to switch your shoe before that happens. But yeah, I'd say just the side paneling, I guess, but it wasn't even that big of an issue anyway. They don't seem to wear through, the sole didn't get thin. A lot of vulcanized shoes just kind of pancake out, but going back to the cup sole, keeping it true.